Hi, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be having be able to see Marta and her presentation tonight. I was Marta and I have been working together for a very, very long time at the music center, and she's been working since 2000 at the center, and I think we probably started working not long after that, but at least for like 15 years. We worked together in the Mission District Young Musicians Program, MDYMP, where she was the director for years. We also did a wonderful program that I think some of you might have seen, the Posarela. But Martha's really been involved in kind of big productions, stuff with the San Francisco Symphony, uh, really helping to put Community Music Center on the map. And I feel very honored to work with her. We still work together in the public schools in San Francisco through a partnership program with SFUSD and Community Music Center, where we're working teaching kids mariachi music, and a lot of immigrant kids, a lot of not immigrant kids, folks from China in the program. It's just a wonderful program. Um, and when we were having lunch, and I talked to her about that we're doing this series and stuff, and she said she was very happy to do it, and she really wanted one of the reasons she wanted to do it is because she was also putting together a website, and so she does have a new website. I'm going to give her a plug. It's Martha Rodriguez Salazar.com. So try checking that out. There's a couple Z's in there. I'll let y'all figure that out. But en español, mejor Marta Rodríguez Salazar.com. So check that out. And I would like to talk more about Martha, but I would rather hear Martha talk about Martha. So thank you for coming, Martha.
Thank you for inviting me, you guys. I'm so honored. And I've also noticed, and I think Treg mentioned it, or maybe not, that Jennifer was the first one to present the CMC sessions this year, and we are bookends. And I was wondering if it was a coincidence, but they told me that no, it was totally planned. So thank you. I think, well, I will be I'm so excited, first of all, that you're here with me tonight. I'm in Mexico City at the moment. I have been traveling back and forth and totally being binational, which is actually, that's the theme of my talk today. And I put together lots of photos and videos and recordings to share with you throughout my conversation with you. It's been hard because it's not easy to talk about oneself, and I hate to do that. I think I always want music to be the communicator. And I think, well, this is the opportunity for you to know where I'm coming from and what led me to know you, or if you don't know me, what's gonna lead you to know me more. So I want to share with you that I was born in Mexico City. And since a little girl, I really loved music, even when none of my family were musicians at that point. My mom was at home wife, and my father was an engineer. And a lot of my uncles and aunts were professionals. A lot of them were teachers, in fact. And they were actually teachers that were pretty out there, going to the mountains in Mexico City and to places that were inhabited to fund schools. And I remember that was very inspiring and has been very inspiring for me in my career as an educator. So later I started to think, well, maybe I'm going to be an engineer or an architect or a designer. And then I had a friend who said, I'm going to school, being a pianist. And then I went to music school with her to accompany her, just that. And I fell in love with the whole atmosphere, with the people there and the environment. And I thought, oh, okay, I want to be here. I was at that point already was singing a lot in my house with the radio on. My mom used to listen to a lot of music. Could be boleros of Los Panchos, or it could be operas. I mean, she was really eager, an eager music lover. And I also started playing the flute pretty late in my life, in fact. I started playing when I was 16 years old. Before I took organ lessons, Yamaha lessons, and I remember going there and I used to love it. And then I went to the National School of Music. So I will be sharing some photos with you now. This is the first photo that I want to share with you today, which is I was part of the National School of Music in Mexico City. Let's see if you can find me, by the way. And together with my career as a flute player, I was an eager singer as well. And both professions have been always walking by side. One helps the other. And because, I mean, it has to do with breathing, it has to do with expression. When one of them was falling apart or like feeling like, oh my God, I can't do this, the other one's going up. So that has been kind of my experience with both things. At that point in life, later on, I discovered many more avenues to be expressive through music. So if you haven't found me, this is me over here. When I was younger, very young, I used to have short hair. Then I started to grow it longer, and that's me over here. And that's the Coro Nacional. So that was the choir we performed at symphony halls, and it was a wonderful moment. It was the first time I ever was a soloist was in the Requiem of Mozart, and I was singing at a big hall in Mexico City. Even before me being a flutist soloist, it was an awesome experience. And throughout also my career there, I mean, in fact, I realized kind of late that I needed to study the 3 years of preparation of music while I was doing my high school, which I didn't. So when I was done with high school, I needed to do those 3 years of preparation, plus the 4 years of the career, plus maybe at the end I was not totally ready. So then it took me 8 years at music school. And in the process, I learned so much. I was able to be very active with a lot of groups. And I met Diego Lopez. We played together for 10 years. He was a guitar player and he was very enthusiastic. We were playing lots of different genres of music, from classical to a lot of folk, actually, folk Mexican. We were playing in streets in Mexico City, in prisons, in actually oil platforms. He was so enthusiastic about playing everywhere. So that was my first experience of understanding that music was a means of expression, that I was able to touch people's hearts through music. And that was the moment where I said, oof, gosh, this is amazing. And at the same time, it gave me kind of a lot of responsibility as well. After these, or during these 10 years, I met a group of people that were looking for a singer. Sorry, it went blank for a second on purpose, because I want to introduce the next group over here. I was invited to be part of this voice quintet of amazing singers. Everything was by memory. We were doing a lot of music, from folk music as well, and traditional Mexican music in 5 voices. Very, very complex. And it was the first time that I was really into, oh my God, I need to memorize everything. I need to be totally on with the preparation, because also they were looking for traveling. We went to France and Finland and we won competitions over there. And this is in Finland. And we were playing, and I need to just say that the recording I found, it's in the internet. It's not me singing, but at least I wanted to give you a flavor of what this group was sounding like. The song and the extract of the song that you're going to be hearing is called Qué Rico el Mambo de Pérez Prado. Really cool group. We went through Notre Dame, we went to so many places. It was amazing experience as well. And since we were doing all Mexican music or Latin American inspired music, it was so amazing to also be in touch with people all around the world. I mean, or at least in Finland and France. And having that as a universal language. I mean, it was amazing confirmation as well. But also a confirmation that I didn't want to be going, traveling, touring. I was feeling like, no, I need to like find something else. You know, what can I say? I'm a singer, and I've been amongst a lot of singers, and singers' personalities can clash very easily. So it was also the understanding of how, you know, like it's good to learn to choose your fights and your struggles and know with whom you want to play, with whom you want to make music. During that time, I also got into an interesting adventure, which is a friend of mine was at music school. The band of the Navy was organizing a new choir in the Navy, and a chamber choir, and they wanted to have singers. And you know, all the people that were there at the National School of Music, we were all starving students, and we said, yes, we want to go and sing in the choir, why not? And so, but because of that, I needed to be part of the military, and I was an officer. Oh, so by the way, in case you didn't recognize me, it's me in the center. But now, let's see if you recognize me in the next photo that I'm going to show you, which is the chamber choir of the Navy. And, you know, it was endless hours of really good music, by the way, that the conductor of the band and the chamber music, the chamber orchestra and the choir was really good. I mean, that's the only reason why I stayed for 4 years into a very educational moment in my life. I mean, I learned about the power of leadership, the power of obeying someone. I mean, you know, as an officer, yes, there were lots of people below me, if you want to say that, because of my rank. But there were also a lot of people above me. And so by needing to follow orders, and at many times very senseless orders, I needed to also understand that, okay, that's how this life goes. But I also understood the power of leadership as well. I was very shy when little. And here it just brought me to a place where I thought, okay, I need to trust in myself. And I spent 4 hours. Well, it felt like more than 4 centuries. I spent 4 years there. And I was the first musician to be given a license to go away, because I was actually then, I moved to the United States to study my master's at Mills College. And I was the first one to be allowed to have a license and to be allowed to go and pursue my studies and come back and still have my rank. And at times those nightmares always kind of chase me at night when I'm in my uniform, I cannot find my hat, and where is my thing? So it's an interesting aspect of my life that I want to share with you. Oh, just a second. So here I am in the middle. Usually, because I was the shortest, that will be usually the middle point in the formation. So that was the Navy. After this, my life became very different. Because after this, what I did was I applied to study music in the United States. I was following a particular teacher, Angelo Corregelos, that was a fantastic teacher. I was helping organize festivals in Mexico City. I was part of the founding member of the Association of Mexican Flute Players over there, and I was helping organize guest artists coming over to the university. It was beautiful. And I met this wonderful flute player, and I wanted to follow her. And she said, come over. So that was my first jump into like an unknown, and it was amazing. I decided to study. She was teaching at Holy Names College and at Mills College, and I decided to do Mills without even knowing that was quite an amazing, creative, liberal, all-women's college. And I love Lesbos, which I didn't know. And you know, it was amazing to know all these amazing people, having composers compose for me. singing operas composed for me. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I am grateful that I chose Mills College in comparison to maybe, say, a conservatory, where I could have just been much more tied to a tradition that was indeed coming from a classical world that I was coming from. But Mills College helped me to understand the whole fusion of contemporary music, electronic music, and also I started to realize that my heritage as a Mexican was very valuable, and that whatever I was bringing in terms of classical music was very valued and very unique. Because, we are confronted with stereotypes. Latinx community, or Mexicans in this case, are viewed as someone who, you must be, I don't know, like, first of all, dark skin. I'm kind of more of a white skinned person, but also that you might not know much about culture or classical music or literature, but in my case it was different. So in that case, I was bringing, Mexican classical music to their world. Then what happened? I'm going to keep sharing now a video of me. I was 2 years studying at Mills College. I did my thesis about Carmen, Bizet's Carmen, and I will show you a minute or less of the Carmen Fantasy by Born, and that was part of my graduation. You're gonna beware that it's not a video; it is a still photo with music. All right, and then I discovered that actually someone, the pianist who was playing with me, wonderful pianist that accompanied a lot of singers, recommended me to the director of the Coro Hispano de San Francisco, a wonderful organization in the Bay Area, in San Francisco particularly, with Maestro Juan Pedro Gaffney, who was always enthusiastic about meeting classically trained musicians from Latin America. And that was 2000 that I started working with Juan Pedro, and it was a wonderful experience, because that was also a confirmation to know that I learned much more about choral, Baroque, Mexican, and Latin American music in the United States that I haven't learned in Mexico. So I was also helping Juan Pedro transcribe music. And it was fantastic because he had the microfilm, of the pieces from maestros of the Cathedral of Puebla, Cathedral of Mexico City, and I was helping transcribe the music into finale, which I didn't know anything about. So it was a total learning process of learning how to write music in computer. But it was awesome. I was playing, I was singing. He also helped. I was helping him conduct, and that was also because also in the Navy I was helping conduct the choirs. I was fascinated with conducting. I mean, when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, I locked myself into my bedroom and I was conducting symphonies over symphonies. But I never really kind of like, since I was busy doing flute playing and singing, I mean, this was brought me the beautiful opportunity to learn about conducting. So I thank Juan Pedro very much, because also he's the one who helped me get my visa that I could renew over and over again for many years. Culturally unique visa was called. And I was working there for 8 years. It was a beautiful experience to be able to do folk, classical, Baroque music with Coro Hispano de San Francisco. And then during that time, I was able to also a shift that totally made my life moving into a different direction was me joining Community Music Center in 2000, getting to know a lot of people there, getting to know Steve Shapiro, who was the director at that point. I was there in 2000, Jennifer as well, but we didn't meet until 2005, when our dear friend Abraham Aviles started to produce chamber operas. So I conducted The Medium by Benotti, and on the second one, he told me, I have a wonderful pianist to accompany you. And it was Jennifer. And it was 2005 when we did Così fan tutte. And that was an amazing project. And that's when we discovered not only love for each other, but also love for music, love for collaboration, love to create projects. And that has been a wonderful, amazing experience. I would always say that my life, really, I could say that it's pre-CMC, or CMC now. Now I'm 22 years into working there, and it's been fabulous. CMC has been amazing into allowing me to create, to imagine, to imagine and just do. I will share some of my experiences now with you through the video. The first thing that I also did with Jennifer, she was very curious of learning classical music or folk music. And so I joined her group. She was funding the Bernal Hill Players. And at that point, I was not part of it. It was a clarinet player, Leah, and a violist. 2 students of hers, by the way, from chamber music program at CMC. And then I joined in, and we had wonderful guests, wonderful members. As you can see here, there's Jennifer playing. I will be playing the flute. And then we have cellist also from the Community Music Center, who name I'm totally forgetting. I'm so sorry. I will remember through while this is La Llorona. Thank you. Sorry, Jesse Ivry. I was forgetting your name, for God's sakes. She's awesome. She's a beautiful cellist that worked for us, with us for a couple of years. Also beautiful singer. So that was the beginning of our work with Bernal Hill Players. Parallel to that, so many projects happening. I have the fortune to meet Chus, and Chus Alonso wanted to start a program for young musicians in the mission. And as Traeger mentioned, the MDYMP started, we worked later, Traeger and me, after Chus left. But we started, Chus and I, in 2007, back then. And we, I was one of the teachers, together with Lisa Laribo and Jesse, who's over there, and Darren, and Miguel Gove as well. Later on, when Chus left, Treg came over, and we have done wonderful things. And then I left after 12 years, and I'm so glad that it has been a place where it's just young people feel inspired. Young people find their roots or other roots from the Latinx world, and they feel inspired to make music. And I really appreciate the work that MDYMP is still doing right now, motivating young students. That brought me into learning Latin music, which I didn't know particular Afro-Cuban music, which not because I was Mexican, people assume that I already know how to sing salsa, which was not the case at all. In fact, it rocked my world because it has such different ideas, and it was beautiful. So instead of me chatting too much about these, I want to share with you two videos. One of them is it's a short video that CMC put together beautifully. At the end of the video clip, you're going to see one of our students, Nena Aldaz, who now is a CMC teacher at the Community Music Center, which, again, the fact of us as educators, seeing young people get so motivated to then they become musicians and they become leaders and inspire others. Man, I feel, what else in life? This is exactly what I want to do. And that's what shaped me as a community musician, by the way. And that's what CMC brought into me, to be very dedicated to community arts, instead of trying to choose for, not because I didn't want to, a solo career, I still can do it. But what really inspires me is the connection with people. Also, you're going to see a little short video of a celebration we did at Yoshi's for Steve Shapiro's farewell party after 33 years of leadership. And Chus composed a song. You're going to see Traeger, you're going to see Omar Ledesma, you're going to see Lichi Fuentes sing with me. And with further ado, I'm going to show you these two videos. After a short little black screen, here we come. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Latin music is important just because I learned so much more about rhythm. It grounded my whole idea of what music was. MDYMP has to do with Mission District. Maybe 95% of the population we have at MDYMP are Latinos. So I think that kids who are part of the program, they're learning so much more about the rhythm and obviously about their culture. This is where they feel like they have a voice and where they feel like they can feel comfortable coming to a place where it feels like family. Now let's try everyone measure 33, okay? Here you go.
In high school, my grandparents passed away within about a year of each other. I was having trouble with my friends and my grades were doing very bad. And the only way that I was getting through it was through music. Whatever is bothering me usually goes away once we start rehearsing.
music and the relationship with the teacher can transform their lives, and can change the direction of what they're going to be when they're older. For Nena, I know that she was having a hard time. Now she's one of the coordinators of her section. So she's a leader, So, I can't tell you how proud I am. Wow. Great. I'm sorry, my finger keeps pushing the mute. I'm so used to it. I'm saying, what an adventure, and a a journey through different kinds of music. The next one will speak on its own. The next recording I'm going to show you on 2 stills. I decided to audition for an opera that had to do very personally with my history. It was an opera based on the life of a 16th century Mexican nun called Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. It was a powerful role to sing and to play, because one of the things that was said about Sor Juana, who was a nun, a very, very revolutionary nun, like a Hildebrand von Bingen, a wonderful writer, and she was very strong in her position as well, and that they say that the vicereine of New Spain was in love. They were in love. So the composer Carla Lucero composed the opera thinking about the love relationship between these 2 women. So for me, it was an important and powerful moment in my life, both personally and musically in so many ways. This is a song that she composed called Esperanza, based on the poems, one poem particularly of Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz called Esperanza.
Los dichosos esperando y de los desdichados el mañana sigan tu sombra en busca de tu día con verdes vidrios por anteojos, todo lo ven pintado a su deseo, que yo, más cuerda en la fortuna mía.
Then we go back again to the community. And then here comes a project that I was working since 2000 called Las Posadas, which became La Posarela. And that was an amazing community event that happened through 12 years. First years, always I wanted to acknowledge Beth Wilmert, by the way, because we started to join forces with the children's chorus. And then that was the first thing to happen. There were little angels in the Posarela and La Posadas. And then it started to grow into going to Victoria Theater. And then Choose decided that we were going to include MDYMP. And then why not? We were doing the choirs, older adult choirs, which I'll talk about them in a second. And so it started to have these fantastic multi-generational events that I think I just became very interested in doing over and over again. Again, I think my cycle is 12 years So I did this for 12 years. I'm going to show you little excerpts of what La Posarela is, which basically has to do with Joseph and Mary trying to look for shelter. And then a devil, it was a combination of Las Posadas and a pastorela. And a devil is trying to misguide them, and finally they find baby Jesus, Joseph and Mary. We did a shift because actor Carlos Barón wrote the script for La Posarela that had to do with Joseph and Mary being immigrants, being with a donkey as a supermarket cart and being undocumented. So let's see, I will share this with you. I'm just gonna stop and go a little bit. So we had students who knew how to dance baile folclórico. We invited them over. We have choir singers from a group that also conducted for many years, I think actually 12, Latin vocal workshop in with Rodríguez-Salazar Players. All the MDYMP students showing there. Then we had, of course, we have a conversation with kids. This was a young woman who did a lot of interviews with the community, and the kids being very enthusiastic about what's their favorite part of La Posarela.
De la posarela.
Cuando los ángeles salieron y los diablos empezaron a hacer como caras a los chiquitos ángeles.
Ay, ¿qué representó el ángel y el diablo para ti?
El diablo fue alguien malo y los ángeles fue como alguien bueno que como salvaron la vida de un niño chiquito.
¡Qué bueno, qué bueno! ¡Qué bueno es ser malo! Ser malo o hacer daño, pensar lo peor. Me gusta ser malo, me hace feliz. Ser malo es un norte, me hace reír.
So I mean, he was very funny. He always made jokes. Here's the little kids from the children's chorus, and then here's Joseph and Mary with a burro. And the innkeeper not letting them in because he doesn't speak Espanol. So, you know, it was addressing the political, social issues of the day, of course, and still is. I want to keep moving forward just by sharing with you in little tidbits of, then after that we did Brava for several years, which was wonderful as well, and that's where Traeger was part of it. This is the summer camp that we both, together with fantastic MDYMP teachers, and Jennifer as well, participated for several years. And then here comes a project that it really talked to my heart a lot, which is, sorry, it's a blank, it's a white, yes. Bernal Hill Players created as part of my binational identity. We did a project called Music of Two Cities, where we were doing music first of neighborhoods of San Francisco. We commissioned composers, many of them from Community Music Center. Here I'm playing a little bit of Eric Pearson's The Birds over, what's the name of it? Sorry. It's With the Birds about Fort Funston. We had composers composing for the Mission, Chus Alonso. We had Katie Reedy, different places of the city. So that was our first CD. And then came the second one, and the second one was called Neighborhoods of Mexico City, which commissioned some pieces from Mexican composers. We also played and recorded music from classical Mexican composers. And we were so proud to be able to commission Gabriel Ortiz, who's an amazing living Mexican composer that's extraordinary. And she composed for us a piece called Tepito, which is a part of the city that has a lot of different subcultures into Mexico City, particularly the Pachuco style of shoes. So let me just show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. These are the calzado Pachuco. Contemporary classical music, and that is something that we've been developing and happy to be commissioning new pieces throughout. And every time we feel very excited to be doing new projects together. One of the classes I mentioned that I also have been teaching before was Latin Vocal Workshop, and here we have our wonderful registered musician, Gabi Hernandez. There you are, she's there. And what I was teaching together with Jennifer was how to sing in public songs in Spanish, and how to deal with being nervous, and how to sing in front of people, and the stylistic music, how to sing in the right style of music from Mexico and Latin America. And we were having wonderful students. We were also doing, this is actually our last concert in 2019. Who would know that after that, later came the pandemic. And obviously before that, and throughout, we were also doing such an important project, which is the older adult program, which unfortunately I'm gonna be able to share the whole video, but you can go to my website and look at so many videos there, including the older adult choirs, including the following one that I'm going to share a little bit as well about. But this project started with two choirs, Coro Solera and Coro de la Treinta, that prompted a national medical study about the benefits of older adults singing in choirs. And that brought 12 or 13 choirs together that CMC was successfully able to maintain throughout these years. And we have actually lots of directors happening in 3 different languages, Spanish, English, and Tagalog, Filipino. And a lot of our students are here present tonight. Thank you for being present. Thank you for being part of our lives. It has transformed not only your lives, but also ours. Jennifer and I really have a lot of understanding about the joy of knowing that we can share music with you, that we can help you just be creative. You can, at any time in life, feel creative. This is, as I say, a young man that also found his voice by being in the choir. So it has been wonderful, and we are looking for more and more years of making music together with our students. And we have participating in many events. This is a community of choirs, one of the groups that we had. This is also one summit that we had with almost 200 participants. Here's Beth, with Maestro Curtis was as well there, Nola. And it's wonderful to be able to do that. Another group that we've been doing, it's Coro de Cámara, which we do Latin American and Baroque and Spanish music from different eras of many centuries. And Sharon Wayne, who is now a teacher at CMC, and also the accompanist of Beth Wilmerth at some of her choirs, or 2 of her choirs, is there. Jennifer always there as my sidekick. I so appreciate that. We obviously managed to put together not only Latin Vocal Workshop people, but Coro de Cámara and older adult choirs. And Coro de Cámara, I mean, you tell it. Tell us we want to join people. We are there for you. Obviously, through the pandemic, it has been hard, but we're still here. And we are still happening. This is an opera that we had the joy to participate with Opera Parallel, Xochitl and the Flowers. It was with professional singers. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. Professional singers, opera singers, children's chorus, Coro de Cámara. I'm going to just share with you a little bit of the music. I invited one of my flute students who was graduating, and she was part of the orchestra. There's Beth, and there's the children's chorus, and some soloists. And I know that we're running out of time, but again, if you go to my website, you're gonna find more descriptions. A big project in my life since 13 years ago, now it's my 14th year, to work at the San Francisco Symphony doing curatorial work as bringing artists, organizing events there for that day, and also to invite artists to create offerings, ofrendas, and art installations at Davis Symphony Hall. It's been wonderful. This is Lila Downs with some older adult choirs. There's Sylvia Sherman, there's Leo, Jennifer's son, and there we are. And you're gonna be able to watch this beautiful video that they did of what happened last year, and the artists that come over to the symphony to exhibit the art, to be part of the celebration, and to infuse more culture into the San Francisco Symphony. And I truly appreciate all the work that the staff at the San Francisco Symphony has done for us, the Latino community. And with me particularly, that we have been learning together how to be able to work, present beautiful music, guest artists, and also, I'm sorry, here I am. You're gonna watch the video on my website, what can I say? Last year we invited Flora Margo, a Venezuelan conductor, and Luis Montes to finish my presentation because I want to hear from you. Sorry that I'm running a little bit at this point, but I want also to say that indeed, Traeger and I, together with Susan Peña, with Miguel Govea, and with wonderful Maestra Ariana Cortez at Unified School District, we've been teaching mariachi for several years. And he's brought me to a deep understanding of my folk roots, which I didn't have. Again, not because I'm Mexican, I'm a specialist in everything of mariachi music. And it's been teaching me to be humble. It's teaching me how to be honoring the traditional music of Mexico. And I'm so glad to be learning together with my students as well some instruments. I play the vihuela. Lastly, before I hear from you, I have the pleasure to have this latest ensemble with Sharon Wayne. We have the Ave Fénix Duo, and we want to perform more together, but then the pandemic came over, and I'm going to show you the last 30 seconds of a performance we had at CMC with mountain songs for Beezer from the Appalachian Songs. All right, and also want to thank all the teachers at CMC, all the students who make our lives both ways so valuable, and that make music be the communicator that brings cultures together no matter what language. I mean, it's music. And again, as a little advertisement, I think, Chantel, can you share my website address? I want to give my thanks to my nephew who's watching me, for creating this website that I was procrastinating enormously for years. It's both in English and Spanish, and you can find it as martarodriguez-salazar.com, and you're going to be able to see the wonderful video that the San Francisco Symphony did for last year, both in English and Spanish. There's English, there's Spanish, and there's the different wonderful opportunities I've had in life, which I'm very grateful about. Thank you so much, you guys, and I would love to hear from you.
That's
amazing,
great, Martha.
Just amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Martha. Yeah.
Bravo,
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 bravo.
bravo.
Well, Martha, I knew that this was going to be a good presentation, but you exceeded my expectations. That was so wonderful to hear about your personal, your journey and how it ended up at Community Music Center and what you've done for us at the center. It was
Thank you, Treg.
Yeah,
I'd like to echo that. Your contributions have been so many, so creative, so varied, and your love of music and your love of people just is really obvious in everything you're doing and in your presentation tonight. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being you, Marta.
Yeah.
We love you.
I discovered that I can't be anyone else, even if I wanted. That the
Sorry. Don't be
music has brought me to know my real self. Thank you for your love.
It is our pleasure.
¿Alguna pregunta en español? ¿O comentario?
No pregunta, pero gracias por Zoom en los veranos con la pandemia también, que eso fue súper importante y lo organizaron ustedes con el centro. Gracias.
Liliana is saying about the importance of continuing being in Zoom through the pandemic, and I was in awe of the older adult choirs because they didn't even. I mean, they went the whole way and more. We did even a cappella video projects. When before it, what Zoom? What button to push? Excuse me, what? I mean, we thrived.
Don't know what button to push. Martha, you left one thing out that I would like to put in. Your work at the symphony is on Dia de los Muertos, is it not? You kind of left that out, and I wanted people to know that happens every year.
Yes, and I have a 3-minute video for you to know more about it. I wonder if you want to see it. Just to finish the presentation.
Yeah,
we can do that. While I find it, maybe someone else can say something, and I will share this with you in a second.
Well, as a member of one of the senior choruses, it is an extraordinary experience for me to be conducted by such a good conductor and accompanist and arranger. It's just a knockout experience. And I started out with good musicians at Henry Street 90 years ago.
Wow.
No, I can't have been 90 because I'm only 82. But 90 years ago. Bad music.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. I'm here to share with you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. There's so many buttons to push that I don't know if I'm pushing the right one. Just a second.
Absolutely the right one.
Before leaving, you guys, I want to thank you. Gracias por su presencia. Each one of you, as I say, has put a really beautiful fingerprint in my life. Cada uno de ustedes que le conozco me han marcado de una manera tan positiva y tan amorosa, siendo mi familia, que tengo varios miembros de la familia, amigos en México. Thank you. And I want to share this amazing, beautiful work that we've been doing through the community every year with the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Here we're going to bring the conductor of the Filarmónica de Minería, Carlos Prieto, who's coming over, and the feature artist is going to be the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra. Here we go. Bienvenidos a la celebración del Día de los Muertos con la Sinfónica de San Francisco. Hello, welcome to the Dia de los Muertos celebration with the San Francisco Symphony. My name is Marta Rodríguez-Salazar, and I'm the curator for all the events and concerts. I've been part of this celebration since 2008. first time that the San Francisco Symphony decided to do a celebration honoring a very, very honored tradition in Mexico, which is the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Thinking about the loss we have had through the pandemic, we want to honor those who have passed away this last year. This year's theme is based on the Aztec legend of Xochitl and Huitzilin, who were transformed into marigolds and hummingbirds and to be eternally forever together. The legend says that any time there is a field full of marigolds, there always will be hummingbirds visiting. We wish to thank all the amazing artists that came to exhibit their artwork at Davis Symphony Hall, as well as the performers celebrating with us the Dia de los Muertos concert. Come and visit the lobbies to see this artwork anytime, at any concert, from now up to November 10th. See you on Saturday, November 6th for the Dia de los Muertos concert.
Brava.
Thank you guys, and thank you, really, everyone. It's the community that we're building together. Thank you, staff from the San Francisco Symphony, and obviously, my second home, Community Music Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Marta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you so much. And to let people know that all the sessions videos will be available on YouTube soon. If you signed up for this, you will be getting an email about that. But thank you, Marta, so much for such a wonderful presentation and for all your work, all your hard work.
Thank you.
Marta.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful, Marta.
And I will see you, or I will meet you soon.
Yes.
Hasta luego. Gracias a todos.